Hi everyone, this is Dan Boul coming to you from 65 amps. Today is January 16th and we are a week away from the 2013 NAMM show. And I still don't have my rig put back together, so it's going to be a chat show again today. And I tried to set up at least a better microphone today, and for some reason my board's not cooperating with my Mac. So you have to put up with the poo-poo microphone again, which is a shame because I had it sounding really good in headphones, and I've got a nice handheld mic here. I got that mic set up and it ain't working. So darn it. But let me get you caught up to date what's going on. I've got a couple questions already on the chat window. For those of you watching the recording, there's a really nice chat window here. So in the future, if you can make it to the show live, we can interact real time, dynamically. So that should make life a lot simpler for everybody. But there's a few questions on here. So what's going on at 65? We are getting our legs at our new shop. It seems to be going really well. I think a lot of you have seen the pictures of our new NAMM booth, which looks like a giant 65 combo. And a lot of you have made the comment, hey, it's a red logo, and I think it's going to ultimately be blue. That's just the one we had finished. So don't worry about that. But yeah, everything is going really well. It's still a little bit chaotic. I still have boxes here in my office, and obviously I put up all my artwork, which isn't working. Sounds like a tunnel. Yeah, you know why? I'm on the webcam mic. Sorry, Justin. I got your text, and no worries, Justin. All is good. My life is absolute mayhem and chaos right now, so you have to tolerate the poo-poo sound. I apologize. I think the more I keep my voice down, the better it sounds. So I tried to get a good microphone set up here, and I'm getting signal into the board, but it's not getting to my Mac for some reason, and I don't know why, but I'll figure that out later. So anyway, oh, I think I know what was going on. There's some patching I have to do. I remember now, but it's too late. Well, hopefully, Justin, it sounds like a good tunnel. Do I sound like I'm in a decent tunnel? Or is it a poo-poo tunnel? Kevin Geyer is here now. Hi, Kevin. Am I going to see you next week at the NAMM Thrax? Love tunnel. Oh, thank you, Josh. Hey, Kevin. Good to see you, brother. Well, it don't sound like the tunnel of love. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, my walls are all bare, and I'm using the mic that's on my Logitech webcam. So, what's the word I'm looking for? Sounds like crap. But anyway. So we're ready. We've got 18 amps finished for NAMM. We're building like crazy in here now. It's great. This new situation with our new partners, we never... Oh, here we go. How about that? Oh, yeah, that's better. How's this go? Oh, yeah, there we go. A little psychotic light. We'll watch and listen without judgment. Thank you for that, Joe. I want to make it an enjoyable experience for you, so I'm sorry that it's not today. So we have 18 amps finished for NAMM that we're taking to line our new booth and outside the new booth, and everything's on fire here. We got all the parts we need. We got all the equipment we need. It's amazing. So we're just building like crazy. And orders are happening, you know, like the whole thing. That's right, Kevin, 18 plus one huge amp. I'm going to try to get you better pictures today. of it. If I can get the grills lit up, because they finish the metal, vents and with the backing screen like we use on our actual combos. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And then we put gels behind it and little lights, so it looks like nice orange tube glow. It's really cool. And I'm very excited about that. Someone asked earlier, hey, the Monterey has disappeared from the website. Has it been discontinued? Sort of. The Monterey is a great amp, but once we released the Ventura and the Tupelo, it kind of killed the sales on it. You might see that come out soon as a Redline amp, but for now we've cut out the amps that just aren't selling. I think we sold like 15 Montereys last year or something, and right now we're just trying to streamline. So it's not gone forever. These English guys are here going, hey, we're neighbors. Billy Lindsay, hey man, how you been? Haven't seen you in a long time. Glad you're here. Very glad you're here. So we got a guy from Durham and we got a guy from Darlington. Would you guys meet for coffee or tea? As it were, so to speak, if you will, per se, et al. But, so yeah, if you look on our website, we've trimmed down the line a little bit. This is purely based on sales numbers. I mean, we'll still make that stuff. We're just not pursuant to Civil Code 32-BC-5. Billy Lindsay, great Dan. I'm from Scotland. I just live here on the west. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen you here for a while. So, yeah, we trimmed down the line just for dealers. Or a beer. That's right. Go get you a pint, mate. And beer better. Beer made good, strong. And then we'll have the new pricing up this week. And I think you're going to be really happy. So let me tell you about NAMM, okay? So I'm dropping the bomb right here, right now. New pricing, amps are great, everything's the same, business is great. NAMM party, Saturday night. Check it out, right? So this will be the 7th year in a row, or 6th year in a row, we've done our NAMM party with Duesenberg. And we always have Mike Campbell, Tom Petty's lead guitar player. Mike Campbell has his own band called the Dirty Knobs. And you English guys know what that means. But they're called the Dirty Knobs. And for you Americans that don't understand the slang term knob, you can guess what it is. So the Dirty Knobs are playing. Yeah, Mike's amazing. The guy's truly an artist. I mean, just a canvas with his guitar. He's incredible. He's not a shredder at all, but yeah, Dirty Knobs. And so the opening act for Mike is going to be Orianthi. Ori, the crazy chick player. Oh, Nick, well, we'll talk about that. So Orianthi's going to open up. And then Mike Campbell's band, the Dirty Knobs, is going to be the headliner at the party. But supposedly, on deck, I met Ori on the Michael Jackson tour because the other guitar player on the Michael Jackson tour, Tommy Organ, had 2 Royal Alberts. And Orianthi is very much modern day Jennifer Batten. She's an incredible player and really, really nice girl. I think she's from a small town in Australia, and she's really unaffected, and she just wants to play guitar and rock, and she's a really sweet kid. But she plays, man, does she play. It's really good. So supposedly, on deck, unless something comes up, Johnny Depp is going to sit in and play with Mike Campbell. So we're hoping that he comes and does his Keith Richards impression. Yeah, Fonzarelli. So Nick S. says, I have some time invested in watching videos, trying to decide which to order. Monterey was the front runner. You can still order it. Don't worry. We'll still make it. We're just not listing it because it's a low frequency amp. Not low frequency in sound, low frequency in orders. You play the Tupelo, and it's the amp the Deluxe wishes it was. Yeah, it's in that vein. Joe, you need passes to get into our party, and we have passes. So if you're at NAMM, come by the booth. If I have any, they're a limited amount because it's at the Imperial Ballroom in Fullerton. Kevin, I'll see you at NAMM. Don't worry. But it's at the Imperial Ballroom in Fullerton, which is an old big band room. And so it's walnut paneled walls and red velvet curtain, and it's just cool as hell. We've done it there 6 years in a row, 7, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be fun. Deb has a band here in LA, and he's actually a good singer, a good player. But I just really hope he comes in character. And from what I've heard, he's a really cool guy. I've never met him, but I've talked to several people in the music business that have worked with him, with his band, and say he's just down to earth, cool as it gets. Chain smokes right in your face. And hey, Bill Studio. So if you're coming to NAMM, come visit us. But it's the Imperial Ballroom in Fullerton, which is a really neat place because they've kind of torn down most of downtown Fullerton. They kind of tore down every other street and made huge parking lots out of it. But in the parking lot behind the Imperial Ballroom is where Leo Fender started, where K&F. And the first Fenders were made there. All the Tweed stuff was right there on this property. So even though it's a parking lot now where Leo Fender's shop was, literally you walk out of the back of the Imperial Ballroom and you're where Leo Fender started. How far is Fullerton from, it's like 3 or 4 miles. It's easy. It's a cheap cab ride. It's a 10-minute drive. It's really close. And Fullerton is where, Duesenberg, USA is. Bill Studio says it's tough to get into NAMM. How does a schmuck like me get in? You got to join NAMM. It costs like $150. Or you got to know someone that has extra passes. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those. Kevin Geyer says, I'll just ride on the roof of the 65 amps tour bus. Yeah, okay. Fonzarelli. Yeah, the Tupelo's good, man. If you're into the American thing, the Tupelo's happening. And our prices are going down this week, so not dramatically, a couple $100 here and there, but it'll make your life a lot simpler, a lot easier to get into the amp. They're going to be lower. I had to do this big price increase in the fall, which is a long story. I had a supply chain nightmare, and my costs just went through the roof, and I didn't have anything to build with. It was horrible. So the prices are going to be much lower than those prices, but in some instances they're going to be lower than they were before the price increase. So a lot of the pricing is going back to sort of 2007 pricing, 2008 pricing, because at our new place here we're getting a better deal on our components because we can buy in bulk. So you guys will realize that benefit. And if there's any dealers watching, we're going to be offering free shipping to the dealers in North America. So that increases your profit margin, definitely. Makes it a lot more attractive product for you to try to move. Kevin Geyer says, you're one of the rare companies to drop prices. Well, the only way I can do it was partnering with Boutique Amps Distribution. I mean, I couldn't do it on my own because my profit margins were skin tight. I mean, uncomfortably tight. And if I had any production slow down at all, it screwed me. I mean, I was just underwater. It was horrible. And that's what happened last year. We had a cabinet company that was going to be online with us. They approached me at NAMM and wanted to build our wanted to build our cabinets, and they were going to actually stuff them with Celestians too. So that was a whole new business model for me that was going to free up a lot of my cash flow. And they weren't able to actually deliver anything until May, for legitimate reasons. It wasn't like they really screwed up. Hi, HMS Hood. But in the meantime, I went back to my old cabinet makers and said, hi, remember when I said I didn't need you anymore? Well, that was wrong. And they were all like, well, we're already booked. I got a first in, first out. So I had to wait. I couldn't really ship anything. We could trickle out stuff for like 3 months, and that cost me a fortune. Right out of my pocket, right out of my butt is where it came. Literally was a serious hit. Nobody screwed up. Nothing was on purpose. It just worked out poorly. And the company that I'm working with are very good guys. It's all copacetic. But I just lost a fortune. Probably realistically $200,000 in revenue. Not in profit, but $200,000 in revenue. Just gone. And I still had to pay my rent and my attorney and the State Board of Equalization and my employees, of course, and my utilities. And we use a lot of electricity at an amp shop. Our electricity bill is about $1,000 a month. And, pay for Ustream and pay for everything. I had to pay, for the dumpster to get emptied every week. All the while not making any money at all. So it was a crazy year last year. And so the only way, I'm getting back to your comment, Kevin, that we're one of the few people to actually lower prices. And not take the production to China. We're not going to China at all. We're doing the exact same thing we did in North Hollywood. We're doing it right here. Same crew, same components, same methodology, everything. So we just get better buying power now, and we have a better we have a better distribution network. So the lead times on the amps are going to go down to 2 or 3 weeks. Instead of 2 or 3 months. The pricing is going to go down. The terms for the dealers are a lot better. Is there any dealers on here? Maybe you don't want to admit it, but are there any of our dealers actually logged into the show right now? I'm going to post the show all over hell and back. I don't recognize anyone who's a dealer, but I can't see everybody that's on here. We got a big crowd. So, hey Carp, ready for NAMM? I'm ready for NAMM, yes. Anyway, so our dealers are going to be making more money on the amps. You're going to be paying less for them, and the quality is the same or better. There's certain things I think we're going to actually be able to do better here just because we have the resources now. HMS Hood asked the very, very insightful question here. Is NAMM interfering with your office being set up to play? You got it, buddy. I'm embarrassed doing it. I have a bare walls. Here, let me do a pan. So there's my board, out of focus, and my rig's not set. There's my rig, but none of it's plugged in. There's my other lights that I haven't set up yet. Boxes unpacked. File cabinet that's not even finished. My safe. It's like, this is what my office looks like right now. There's nothing here. I don't really spend much time in here other than just doing emails. And my plate is so full that it's going to take me a whole day to get this set up. And it looks like last week. That's right. You're absolutely right, Carp. It hasn't really changed. Bill Studio said, I'd like to see a small affordable amp, say $1,000. Yeah, that's a good point, Bill. And as a matter of fact, we're working on something like that. It's going to be the third line of amps that we do. And I have some questions for you guys. I want to maybe do a poll today. See if I can do that. I don't know if I can still do that on here or not. Yes, I can. Okay. So, we have our blue line and our red line. And I know how to make a printed circuit board amp that's really good. Saying printed circuit board is like saying beef. There's McDonald's hamburger, and then there's Bob Sacco. Oh yeah, we are making a bunch of pedals too. This year is going to be a good year. I've got like a clean booster and a drive pedal that I really, really like. I have prototypes here. Some of you guys might have seen some iterations of it on the show last year. We're actually going to put those into production. But there's a way to make a printed circuit board amp that's really good. You use the thick board, you use heavy traces, and 30 knob box. Oh, that's a good idea. The dirty knob. Thank you. I hereby copyright that phrase. I trademark it right now. January 16th, 2013. I am officially trademarking the name Dirty Knob for a pedal. This will be the statement of record. You can trademark stuff just by declaring that it's your trademark. So I'm declaring it my trademark right now. January 16th, 2013 at 12:35 p.m. Pacific time. So anyway, there's a way to make, there's people that make really high-end printed circuit board amps, and they're great. Reinhold Bogner, Randall Smith, Boogie, Andy Marshall, the THD. Those are all really, really well-made amps. And they're on a printed circuit board because they use really thick boards with really heavy traces. It's not cheap poo-poo stuff. And thank you, Joe, is backing me up. Soldano, that's right. Thank you, Fonzarelli. Absolutely right. Sorry about the 10%, Bob. Yeah, talk to my agent. So to get anything down around $1,000, there's no way to do it hand-wired because there's so much labor. Like for example, on our Empire, just to get the chassis strung up by a master builder. This is a guy who's a master builder, really. He builds stuff twice as fast as anybody I've ever seen. For our, for my Empire amp, it takes him 12 hours of straight, heads down, hard work. And good hand builders are not cheap. But if I put that amp on a printed circuit board, yeah, that's right, Nick. You have a Bogner Shiva and no issues. Yeah, you can do it correctly. A lot of people don't. That's where, the whole argument between PCB and hand-wired, it's like, well, what are we talking about? Are you talking about a high-end PCB versus a low-end hand-wired amp, an entry-level hand-wired amp, or are we talking about a high-end PCB versus a high-end hand-wired amp? If you build a high-end PCB, there's no difference in performance. But so the Empire takes 12 hours. That's before we tech it. We spend hours teching it and testing it and doing all these other things to it. So the current amps that we make now aren't going to change. We're always going to do, the blue line is going to be our premium high-end hand-wired stuff. Always available, still going to be expensive. There's no way to avoid it. There's a ton of labor. And the parts are premium. But we can use those same premium parts on the printed circuit board. So the Empire, if I put it on a printed circuit board, it would take 2 hours to put together. Maybe less, depending on how good we design it. And a master builder is very expensive. So that takes a huge chunk out of the cost of the amp. And that's still doing it correctly, like, a USA-made, nice circuit board, heavy traces, heavy board, blah, 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 blah. Bob Sacco. Now, I'll never make a power soak or an attenuator. I don't believe in them. I think they're not good for your amp. But we can do our master voltage. We used to call the master voltage the wife knob. That's funny you say that. So anyway, so we have the blue line and the red line. I'm going to get to that because I have a question about the blue line and the red line I want to ask you guys. How about a good tone bender? Yes, it's one of my favorites. We can talk about power soaks if you want. and why I think they're a bad idea. It's just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not preaching the gospel. I'm not dictating. Just my opinion. One guy's opinion. You know, I do have above average experience with amps, but I'm no way God. You know, there's a lot of amp makers. This is the gospel and there's no other way. There's 25 ways to do things correctly. I have one way of doing things correctly, and Billy Lindsay, I can ask that question too. Answer that question. That's a good question. I'm going to say it out loud and I'll come back to it. What about a real low watt amp, like a 1 watt? I use 2 live for my shows. That's what our master voltage does. There's only so much power you can drain out of a pair of tubes and get good sound. So anyway, so we are going to make a little amp. It's going to be on printed circuit board. Printed circuit board also allows me to add functionality. Now let me just say this again, because I know this is going to come back to me misquoted. We are not changing the blue line stuff. Our red line stuff is the same. And speaking of the red line, guess what we're going to release next week at NAMM? A red line Soho. Yay! And it sounds great. The prototype sounds killer. I mean, all I did was change the transformers, but that drops the price like $700. You go out and buy a set of Mercury trannies, retail, they're $700 or $800. Of course, we don't pay retail, but we have to mark it up. I mean, our dealers have to make money. We have to make money. And otherwise, we can't pay all the bills. There's a lot of overhead in the amp business, so it gets expensive fast, especially if you're doing it legally, which we are. If I wanted to be the guy making amps out of a storage unit or out of his house, not paying taxes, not paying workers' comp, not paying sales tax, doing cash transactions, yeah, I could sell the amps cheaper, but I'm really kind of averse to jail. Call me a little girl. But I'm trying to avoid going to jail. Actually, I'm just kidding. I just like to be legal. I don't like to worry about that stuff. So, love my 65. I love your name on the show. It's the best. Who makes the transformers for the Redline amps? Those are made by Magnetic Components out of Chicago. And yeah, so Bob, you're one step ahead of me. And Jay Gaishion says, yay to the Soho Red. Any other changes in the transformer? No, it's the same amp. We're going to build it in a smaller chassis, but it's the same exact circuit. And then the price is going down for a combo. You should be able to get it for under $2,000, I think. So it sounds really good. I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of it, but it sounds great. Like really good. I'm going to do some tweaking on it this afternoon. And hey, Jason Barr, I didn't know you were here. How you doing, buddy? So yeah, the green line. RJ Sanders, you got censored. Are you cussing on my show? I like that. I really like that. So, so we have the blue line and the red line, but I got a little problem, and I want to ask you guys about it and get your opinion. So, the only real difference between the red line and the blue line are the transformers. You know, Bill, what you're saying, that's what our master voltage already does. So it's good. We can talk about that more later. It's a good point you bring up, though. Okay, Billy, take care, brother. Thanks for getting in. Death Ride 69, what's up? Redline Soho, HP or regular? Right now, regular. We'll probably do an HP also. The one that I have, hey, Death Ride, you want to come over? You can play it. Yeah, but the head's going to be, you know, $1,500, $1,600 ish. Don't quote me. I don't know. Um, all right. Sorry, there's lots of comments here. So the dilemma I have is there's not much distinction between the red line and the blue line. We initially intended on having more distinction. No, the red line does not have a printed circuit board. I don't know where you got that. Mitchless, completely wrong. Yeah, you want to come over tomorrow, Death Ride? Come on by. And we can handle all that other stuff if you want. No, the red line is hand-wired Sozo caps, same premium components. The only difference is the transformers. Mercury's transformers are punishingly expensive. They're the best in the world. Yeah, let's do lunch tomorrow. That'd be perfect. So Mitchless, confirm that you heard the red line is not a printed circuit board. The red line is completely hand-wired. Mitchless. Are you from Mashless? Check. Right on. Thank you. I thought the red lines were having printed circuit boards. No, we thought about it for a while, but we're not going to do it. No, it's all hand-wired. They're the same amps. So this is the problem I'm trying to get to, is that yeah, Jason Barr, bring it. The only distinction, like even our red line cabinets now, since we have this CNC machine at our disposal now, we're going to start making. Bob Sacco says you're hurting your brand equity. How am I doing that? I don't understand, Bob. We're not changing the amps. So, anyway, here's what I'm getting at. We're thinking about just making everything blue line. Ventura, London Pro, blah, 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 blah. Just some of them. Oh, yeah, we tried that board with grounds. You're right, Frank. Yeah, we didn't do that. We are not using printed circuit boards on anything right now. Nothing. That was a short-lived experiment that we decided against. We didn't really save any. So we were thinking about, for example, like our red line 112 cabinet now. The only difference between that and the blue line one is the logo for the most part, because now we have this great machine. Reverend Nolf, yeah, that's where I'm going. You guys are ahead of me, so stick with me here for a second. So we're thinking about just making everything blue line that's hand-wired. And then the red line down the road will be all printed circuit boards. And what do you guys think about that? So you can tell by the price what kind of transformers it has in it. I casually mentioned something on a show a while back, but that's not happening. That's all hand-wired stuff. Sorry for the confusion. I certainly didn't mean that. Hey, Ken Christian, how are you, sir? Well, that's the thing. So what I can do right now is, we have the red line and the blue line. The amps, you like the blue-red lineup, okay. I like blue, and a Ventura works for me, okay. But yeah, ultimately you want to get to two lines. There's the hand-wired line and the PCB line. Go back to chicken debeaking. Red, blue, green makes sense. Yeah, I think it's just going to get confusing, So you can tell, like, if the London Pro is $1,700, it's obviously not Mercury transformers. You know, so Frank brown line. Well, we were thinking about silver. Too many SKUs. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to offer it in one or the other. And, you know, right now there's already some confusion. Like, yeah, exactly, Fonzarelli. So we have a little amp that I'm working on right now that's on a printed circuit board, and you probably won't see it till next year. But it's cool. It's really cool. And that's something that, you know, we can get into the stores around $1,000. And we'll do our thing to it. You know, it's going to have our... I'm moving to Chicago. No, not yet. Until you guys can get rid of that winter. I love Chicago, though, but it's too cold. These guys are great. What about the vents, etc.? Yeah, the vents... See, that's the thing. It gets kind of weird. Like right now, our red line doesn't have the nice vents on it. Those are really expensive. Yeah, I like your idea, FS75. So let me see if I can make a poll here and I get a quick response for you. And the question's going to be, should the blue line... Oops, I can't type. And red line remain. Phone call. Emerald City Guitars. I need to talk to them.
Call from Emerald City, GU. Call from Emerald City, GU.
I can't talk to you now, Jay.
Emerald City.
Remain separate. Sorry about that. That's really loud,
Call
isn't it?
from Emerald City, GU.
So one option is going to be yes. Other one's no. Let's just do this really quick. If you guys could click on this. Well, the blue line's not going away. Where do I see the results? Ah, here we go. Wow, look at that. Overwhelmingly, should the blue line and the red line remain separate? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty clear. All right, so let me put the question a different way. Let's do a new poll. Remove poll. Okay. All right, so that was pretty clear. Can I do this again? It won't. All right. I'm going to ask you about 3 questions here. Should the red line hand-wired amps be added into the blue line? And red becomes PCB. Let's do this. See what you think about that. So far, it's only yes. No, now here we go. No. Okay, no's are winning on that. Wow. Okay. Keep clicking here for a second. Well, Bob Sacco, you make a good point. Bob says the blue line will be forever your legacy as a classic. You can make many lower, but you remember for the blue line. Yeah, no, the blue line's not going away, and we're going to have new blue line amps all the time, and we need to do these other things to, you know, make money. And also they will fund the blue line R&D. Yeah, okay, so the red line should not be added into the blue line. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All right. We have a hand-wired Ventura Mitchless. What are you talking about? We don't make any printed circuit board amps. Who told you we make printed circuit board amps? We have never made a printed circuit board amp. The red line is not printed circuit board. You are intentionally on this show fucking with me, aren't you? All of our amps are hand-wired. I'm sure you're just making a mistake. It's okay. All of the amps are hand-wired. We have never made a printed circuit board amp. The hand-wired Ventura exists. Loud Stroud! Hey, it's Peter Stroud's on. What's up, Peter? This guy Mitchless here, I think he works for another amp company and he's trying to throw us curveballs, so we're having fun. We have never made a printed circuit board amp, Mitchless. We have never made one. Well, his name's Mitchless, so I'm sure it's probably somebody from Matchless. Is that you, Phil? But anyway, the way you're typing your statements make it sound like we don't make a hand-wired Ventura. Gotcha. I'm just giving you a hard time, dude. It's okay. I only kid people I like. Probably from Marshall. No, those guys don't worry about us. So the point is, we have the blue line and the red line. We're contemplating. You know, there's just not as much. I'm just kidding you, Mitchless. It's okay. Don't be hurt. I'm just joking. Yeah, I mean, Peter, I don't know how long you've been on, but I was explaining to them earlier, you know, saying printed circuit board means a lot of things. You know, I always say it's like saying beef. Beef is a White Castle burger or a Crystal burger, or is it a filet mignon? They're both beef, so they're all the same, right? No, they're far from different. And so we know about people that make great printed circuit board amps, you know, and I listed a few, you know, Reinhold Bogner, Randall Smith, Mike Soldano, et cetera, et cetera. There's ways to do it right, and then unfortunately there's a lot of people that do it very poorly, and that's what's given PCBs a bad reputation. So yeah, good point, Peter. It's an incorrect assumption, like true bypass versus buffered bypass. It's a very good point. So what we've been looking at, messing around with, just exploring the possibilities of making something that's really high quality. Make it here in the U.S. Yeah, we're going to start making solid state amps too. Hey, Carp, we'll see you next week, man. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, me too, Kevin. I'm laughing at solid state. We won't make solid state amps. It's about construction. Yeah, I mean, you got to have thick boards and heavy traces, high quality copper tracing, blah, 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 blah. Which is hard to do in China. Or people are just greedy. You know, it costs $5 extra to make a really nice printed circuit board, and And boo at solid state snobs. Yeah, I'm one of them. Sorry. I'm open-minded. If I hear a solid state amp I like, I'll say so. So, you know, the way we do things here at 65, we tend to be a little bit neurotic and over the top. And that's what we're talking about doing down the road. So it'd be a silver series, silver line, green line, something like that. Yeah, Bob, there's two different ways to do it. I mean, you know, when you're wiring an amp, though, I mean, you know, stranded wire sounds different than solid core wire, and wire that has silver content in it sounds different than wire that doesn't. You know, so it's all about design. Next poll, this is fun. Let me see, let me do it again here. I can't seem to change the poll. Like maybe I got a limit on how many I can do. Because it says start poll, but I can't, nothing's reacting. Yeah, there's plenty of solid state amps that sound really good. I mean, not solid state, printed circuit board amps. I mean, look at the 70s Marshalls. They're all great. You know, there's tons of really good printed circuit board amps. Unfortunately, the market is sort of saturated right now with pretty low quality ones. There's a few high-end guys. Peter mentioned Boogie, and I think you're exactly right. I think his first genuine amps that were Mesa Boogies were printed circuit boards. I mean, Boogie existed before when he was modifying Fenders. It's always been. Well, thanks, Joe. It says you're trusted by the public. You know, it's all in the execution. And yeah, Rivera's are printed circuit board. Somebody's got me saying solid state now. They're not solid state. Yeah, Joe, that's kind of what I was thinking. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We're not going to make a decision. As it stands right now, for 2013, it's the red line and the blue line the way it's always been. So I was just kind of thinking, like, the Ventura sounds as good as our blue line amps. And we got this red line Soho that we're playing here, and it sounds amazing. And it's kind of like, well, you know. So, aren't your new pedals going to be tube or solid state? They'll be solid state because they're pedals. Actually, we got an idea for a tube pedal, but that's right, Peter. Peter says, therefore, we need to make a great sounding amp in a very affordable price range, and that's the only way to do it. I was kind of going over that earlier, Peter, before I think you came on. There's a certain amount of labor in hand wiring an amp that you just can't get around, and Joe Riccio says, I would vote for even current redline models to go PCB. Yeah, under $1,000. Yeah, that's where the market is. I mean, that's where 90% of the amp market is. We're just up in the tip of the mountaintop, you know. And the only way to do something around $1,000 is to go to a printed circuit board because you're taking most of the labor out. Dirty 59, that's a good point. I wonder about the distinction between the old red line and the new red line if you do that. Yeah, that's true. I tend to agree with you on that. Gotta go. See you, Fonzarelli. Take care, man. Well, if we make an affordable amp, it's going to sound damn good. Don't worry about that. And we're not going to put our name on anything that's not outstanding. Don't worry. We're not dropping our standards here at all. we just got to be realistic about what the market is. You know, if we want this to be a long-term venture that's really profitable, you know, this is a way to generate money. And, you know, like Kevin Geyer said, get a lot of people into our brand that weren't before. Because I totally appreciate that these things are really expensive. I mean, we don't sit here and go, yeah, $3,000, so what? What's the problem? Why don't you pay for it? We're not like that at all. I know for a lot of you guys, that's a month or two's salary, you know, and hardly anybody can give up a 2-month salary for a guitar amp. So we respect that. Don't worry about that. John Doe asks, is shipping overseas a hassle with tube amps? No, that's fine. Guitar Dom says that is the key. I know a lot of guys playing less than great new amps, I can't say it, that would jump at an affordable 65 in a hot minute. Well, that's kind of what we're thinking too. And of course, I mean, you know me, you know Peter. We're not going to put anything out that's not worthwhile. You know, we're in this because we love this stuff. And Bob Sacco says, reinvent the PCB board and then you rise above the problem. Yeah, I bought plenty of cheap amps that I thought were really cool. You know, we know how to make them sound good. Great point, Peter. Thank you. Peter has a bunch of vintage Ampegs that are all printed circuit board. I have a couple of them. They're great. They're really good. Kevin Geyer says the only thing, we're Rojas compliant. That's easy. That's really not a big deal. Basically, it's you buy good parts. They're all Rojas compliant, and you use lead-free solder, and you're good. It's only a problem if you're buying parts out of wholesale pick-apart places, then you can't get certified. That's right. Tube PCB, not solid state. No intention of doing solid state. No. That was a joke. That was a joke earlier. I'm sorry. I know there's some of you guys that English isn't your native language, and the jokes might pass you by. We were only joking. Kevin Geyer says scary equals Peter through an old Ampeg. It might make me write a classified for all my gear. Yeah. Well, you know, to be honest with you, Peter Stroud playing through anything sounds pretty damn good. I've heard Peter play through the junkiest little stuff, and he makes everything sound good. Peter and I both have a small collection of little poo-poo amps from the 50s and 60s, little single-ended things. And matter of fact, I got a big knot on my head one time jamming at Peter's house on New Year's Eve through his 48 or 49 Fender Champion 600 or whatever it was. You know, the amp's like this big. And Brent hit me over the head with a Strat. We were all rocking out, swinging our guitars around. Maybe we were drinking. I don't want to say it. That was like 10 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago. 49 Fender 600. Yeah, that's it. And, you know, when I play through it, it sounds like a little poo-poo amp. Peter plays through it, you go, damn, that thing's good. I want one of those. And Peter's got that thing that I don't have. I'm a competent player. Peter's a guitar player. Peter makes it work. So, yeah, it's, you know, and Peter's played, you know, printed circuit board amps throughout his career as well. John Doe says, do you prefer stranded or solid core wire? I like stranded wire for a couple of reasons. One, I think it sounds a little clearer. But also it doesn't break. Solid core wire breaks. You look at old Voxes and old Hiwatts, every time they're in, no, Dan, you smoke. Only thing I smoke is a cigar once in a while. You're nice, Peter. Peter's my brother, so he's going to be sweet, you know. I love you, man. You're a generous guy. I have no ego problems whatsoever saying that you are a masterful guitar player, and I'm just a guy who has fun playing guitar. I'm a guitar owner. You're a guitar player. So, Peter and I will now sneak off into a room together. Anyway, but if you look at old boxes and Fenders, they all have solid core wire, and the wire breaks. So 99 times out of 100, when you see an old box that's broken, it's because the solid core wire broke. Yeah, we got to get Peter doing more demos. The problem is Peter's on the road half the time. He's a busy man. He's playing for Sheryl Crow. He's the musical director for Sheryl Crow. And he plays with 4 or 5 other artists. And he's also a record producer. And he's also got his own band. Okay, Jason, take care. We'll see you next week, huh? Are you bringing some Elliott guitars out? We can throw them in the booth. Fender just released a hand-wired Bandmaster. Okay, cool. Yeah, good. Well, it's about time Fender does that stuff, because there's an entire huge segment of the boutique amp world. They're just reproducing old Fenders that Fender knows how to make, and you know. It's crazy. We just need to. Fender can knock that whole thing out at once. So, anyway, yeah, old Fenders are stranded wire. Dirty 59 says, get the PCB and the tubes out around the same time, and I see great things in the future. Well, that's our plan. Wow, there's so many comments that just rolled by. I know I missed a lot of it. Wow, we've already been on for an hour. Look at that. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear Fender's making some more hand-wired amps, because I assume Fender can do Fender really well. Yeah, RJ Sanders brings up a good point here. So my first new amp was a 67 Bandmaster and cabinet for $420, comparable to about $3,000 in today's money. $3K is not much for the real good stuff. Yeah, that's very true. You got to go, Peter. All right, thanks for dropping by, dude. Nice surprise. And that panel looks great. You did. Thank you. So money hasn't really changed. You know, you look at like an AC30 in 1964, I think was around $400, and that's about $3,500 in today's money. Which, if we were to make you a 4 EL84 combo, I got to charge you about $3,500 for it. That's right, Redline Soho. 65 Mustang was about $2,500. That would have been a high-end Mustang in 65. Yeah, you could buy a Cadillac, I think, for $2,500 in 1965. Yeah, and a tricked-out Mustang now is $35,000. You know, for one with the big engine and the accessories on it. So, I don't know if I can demo the Redline Soho on the show before. I think I'm going to do a show next week. It's just going to be a chat show because we're all moving down. I just have no time between now and then. I really don't have time to do this show, but I just want to stay in touch with you guys and let you know what's going on. And I'll get you some better pictures of the NAMM booth today. It's cool, man. Night, Dan. Work tomorrow. All right, Mickey Kid. Go to bed. Go earn some money. Take care of the family. Pay the bills. Don't mind me. It's okay. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. Well, that looks worse, doesn't it? Is NAMM booth space expensive? Yes, it is. Lunch with DB from the NAMM floor. Well, actually, where our new shop is, I'm not that far away from NAMM. And I don't think I'm going to be down there or spending the night down there until Wednesday night. So I'll be down Tuesday checking it out. But so I can do another show and give you the latest last-minute updates. And I don't know if we're going to have Wi-Fi at NAMM. If we have Wi-Fi at NAMM, I might try to broadcast down there just so you guys can check it out. You just notice that my initials are Decibel. Ah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll try to put some videos up from NAMM. It's just so busy. You can't believe how busy our booth is at NAMM. It's unbelievable. We're just slammed. You'll try to get passes from me Wednesday night, Joe. For the Saturday night party? Yeah, I won't have them Wednesday. I probably won't have them until Friday. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, the 65 booth is nuts for 4 straight days. We are moving halls this year, so I hope people figure that out. But yeah, we get big crowds. And last year, Peter and I both were only able to eat an orange for lunch and go to the bathroom once a day. We had 30-something interviews set up, and it was just nuts, absolutely nuts. So, yeah, NAMM causes anxiety, sorry. Bring sandwiches. Yeah, well, if any of you guys are going to come to NAMM, bring me a sandwich, bring Peter a sandwich, and I'll give you a pass to the party. How about that? Nice food, something good. Yeah, we can get, I don't know if Miles is coming to NAMM. He's a smart guy. He doesn't like to go down there. The crowd noise the ambient noise on the floor is over 90 decibels. Thank you, love my 65. Got to run. Thanks for the show. Thanks for making some of the best hang-ups out. Oh, thank you, man. That's really nice. I appreciate it. You guys are great. Yeah, we should probably start winding it down. I got a lot of work to do. It's already 1:15, so I appreciate it. Yeah, the food at the convention center sucks. I mean, that chicken wrap is kind of the only healthy thing they have. But it'd be nice if you could order a pizza in there, wouldn't it? But, yeah, man. We'll get it all sorted out. Now we'll be fine. It's funny. For those of you that work at NAMM, you know the drill. Brisket sandwich. You go into NAMM with a lot of anxiety and a lot of anticipation. Some of it's good anxiety, some of it's not, but most of it's good. And you get into NAMM and your booth is slammed and everyone says, I love your stuff and we're going to buy a bunch and it's really fun and you walk out feeling good. So, but right now I'm in the anxiety stage. So bear with me. Luckily I've got my friends here to talk to. Yeah, NAMM's crazy. It's the Super Bowl. You gotta do your thing at NAMM, and it's all good. Right on, Kevin. You got a deal, brother. I'm gonna end up with like 50 sandwiches at the booth now. But so anyway, let's summarize what's going on at 65. NAMM is next week. We are in Hall B at 5952. I think is our number. Hall B as in Boul. Hall B as in boutique. Our booth number is 5952. We will be introducing officially the Producer 6L, which you guys have heard. We did sort of a soft release on that in the fall. But we are going to officially do the hard release on the Producer 6L for the blue line. On the red line, it's the red line Soho. And we will have that. Yeah, you're right, HMS Hood. No one wants to do NAMM, but we have to. And the red line, there'll be a red Soho Pro. We're not sure exactly what we're going to call it, but we will have the functioning amp there to play, and it sounds good. I'm extremely pleased with how it turned out. So anyway, I hope to see you there. If you're coming to NAMM, please come by and say hello. I love to meet guys from the show, because you guys know what I look like and sound like, but I don't know 95% of you. So please come by. Yes, FS75, that's right. Was that the new blue line? Yeah, the Producer 6L is the 6L6s, pair of 6L6s. I played it on the show here about 10 times, I think. I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, go to YouTube or our Ustream channel and check it out. You'll loiter. Yeah, are you in Hole B, Kevin? You're working for Fender this year? God, we got a big crowd on it. This is good. Big crowd. I'll look like the guy with the tired feet. Oh, 5882? You're right down from us. You're right next to us. That's hilarious. That's great. Oh, you're with All Parts. Oh, right, of course. We're right there. Maybe we'll order some stuff from you. Joe Gorfinkel says, all look like the guy with the tired feet. Well, man, that puts you in the majority of people there. We have our booth set up. It's going to be nice and quiet in there when we're not playing. And get out of the ambient noise at NAMM will drive you crazy if you've never been there. It's like if you went into a hi-fi store and everyone turned up every hi-fi in the place and they're all playing different songs. You just go, ah! It's like going to Guitar Center on a Saturday afternoon. Times 10. It's crazy. Anyway, all right, fellas, I'm going to call it a day. So, again, if you're coming to NAMM, come see the new Producer 6L. Come see the Redline Soho. Come see our new booth, which looks like a huge 65 combo. So, I'd love to meet you in person and spend some time with you. Kevin, I'll see you there, I know, for sure. Joe Gorfinkel, Joe Riggio, lots of Joes. We'll see you there. So let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. So it's to wrap up, it's January 16th, 2013. And this is Dan Boul coming to you from 65 Amps in Los Angeles, California. So I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care, guys, and thanks so much for your time. Bye-bye.